What episode is this? 4 or 5?
I don't think it's more than 4.
I don't know.
Well, it's the September episode.
Yeah, by the time I get it edited, probably. Hello and welcome to the September episode of the Yarn Dispensary podcast. I'm Gemma.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Roz.
And yeah, we are so out of practice, so this will probably be utterly hilarious to settle in. We are most of the team. Actually, no, about half of the team now, aren't we, from Yarn Dispensary, yarn shop in Faversham, multi-award-winning yarn shop in Faversham. And actually, at the top of the episode, we've got through to the shortlist, so finalists for the best independent yarn shop in London and the South East in Let's Knit's British Knitting and Crochet Awards 2021. There's a mouthful. So do please take a moment, click the link below, vote for us, please. That'd be great. We're the only yarn shop from the southeast to make it into the finals. We've got some finished objects for you, some works in progress, and hopefully you enjoy us blathering on about what we're making. So yeah, who's got anything finished they want to start with? Oh, there's Roz. Yep.
Okay, this is a short-sleeved top in this rather nice, can you see the lace pattern there? So it's a lace yoke and then the rest is stocking stitch. The pattern is by a lady who works under the name Valentina Knits. And I first spotted her on Instagram when she was looking for test knitters for a new pattern, but then I went on to her Ravelry page and she had lots of similar ones. So I didn't wait for the test knit to be finalized. I just went ahead with this one. And I knitted it in the Fibre Spates Scrumptious, which is a lovely 4-ply with a great deal of silk. I can't remember the proportion, but it's got a lot of silk in it.
I think it's something like 55 silk, 45 merino.
That rings a bell, yeah. So can you see her?
Really beautiful.
Really beautiful.
It's got scalloped edges at the neck, which seems to be one of her signature things. So I would put it on, although I'm a bit hot. So
yeah, but we'll have some pictures and put those over the top like
absolutely.
Obviously with recording online, clarity isn't our friend, but no, that's absolutely beautiful, Roz. You say you got it from Ravelry. Is she off Ravelry as well?
I'm not sure. As I said, I can check her Instagram page and see if she's got other options, because I know that's useful for a lot of people.
Yeah, where possible, guys, we in the description we will always tell you if it's a Ravelry, and where possible we will source patterns from people who are available off Ravelry as well. So yeah. So how long did that take?
Oh, sorry. She says when you get to her bit on Instagram, this thing, it says my designs on Ravelry, and then there's another box that says my designs on Love Crafts.
Marvelous. So you've got 2 options there to get her designs from, which is great.
I started it a week or 2 before Wimbledon, which is always last week in June. And the yoke obviously is the complex bit. So I wanted to get that done in time for Wimbledon, because the rest is then stocking stitch and I could watch the tennis. So, but the way she describes her lace patterns, she's obviously done millions of them. Lots and lots of people have done them, which is encouraging when you're going for a design that you're unfamiliar with. And she says right from the beginning, put markers in every, I think it was 14 stitches. And those little panels just grew. And then the increases were just yarn overs that were part of the lace pattern. So it was very easy to keep track of. Surprisingly easy considering how complex the result is. So very happy with that.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Have to get some pictures going as well. Have you finished anything else while you've been?
Well, this is what I was just going to show the way of. This is how I sew up things on. I usually put the cushion on my lap so that it's a bit higher. I've got all my little locking stitch markers joining the seam together so that I can do it. And I'm a recent convert to a cranked sewing up needle. I never bought one early on because I had so many other needles. I didn't feel the need, and then I tried one in the shop, and it really does make a difference. I'll show you this. It's not been blocked yet, but it's a top, sleeveless top with this sort of Art Deco panel, I suppose. Oh, it's hooked up. There we go. Can you see it though?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Art
it's
Deco.
lovely.
Now this is done with Erica Knight's studio linen, which we still have quite a lot of, particularly the dark teal. Now, most people who know me would think, why did she not do the dark teal? But this was me going off-piste slightly, do something different.
Yeah.
So it's the same back and front, except it's got the V-neck.
I think two different people have asked me, because I've talked about you doing something studio linen in shop, and two people have asked me, oh, green? No. Ross is catching you out.
No. Hopefully I'm normally in Faversham with all the lovely sunshine. I'm usually quite brown at this time of year. Hopefully this isn't the same colour as my skin, but we'll see.
I'm sure it will be. And that's a Rowan pattern, isn't it?
It's in, I can't remember who it's by, but it's in the Rowan magazine, and the pattern's called Lennon. It's either 67 or 68, one of the books we've got in the shop, the Rowan magazine type books. And it's called Lennon, as in John Lennon.
Cool. If you got a finished object, Linda, did you talk about your jumper that Oakley?
Oh, yeah. We've got pictures of that, I think, online, haven't we, that we can use?
Yes, we did.
So I made a little French knits jumper for my grandson, who's 4 months old, which was fabulous. And I made it out of Socks Yeah, and it's nice and easy to knit. I love the little French knit patterns. They're very classic. And he's worn it a lot, apparently, so that's really nice. And we have pictures that we can put up of that. So yeah, and of it, Socks Yeah is just brilliant to use. It's what I use for a lot of the children's clothes, because you can pop it in the washing machine. It's soft, it doesn't irritate their skin, and they love it. And all of my grandchildren have slightly sensitive skin, so it's a really good one for little ones. So that's a really nice one to use.
Yeah, and it comes in DK and 4-ply, doesn't it?
It does, and so many colours. And I think that's the nice thing. There are so many different colours, so that's really good. It's
how does it hold up to being washed? Because sometimes you can get yarns that say machine washable, and you're like, are you really?
Yeah, it does hold up really well, because some as most younger mums that are really busy, I can't imagine that my daughter-in-law to be will be throwing it in, doing anything, hand washing it, or just get thrown in the machine. And every time I've seen it, it's looked absolutely fine. It's stood up really well to washing. So yeah, as do the socks that I made out of socks. So I think that, and I've washed those in the washing machine. So I'm sure that that it's fine. It's come up very well.
Yeah, it's really good to know, because I think there's a common belief that anything natural fibres can't be washed in the machine, but actually a lot of them now can.
Yeah,
so what you're looking for is a superwash yarn. It doesn't always have to be superwash. The Croft by West Yorkshire Spinners isn't superwash, and that washes up beautifully. But there's different types of superwash, and some people are a bit nervous about it, because you can have superwash yarns that are treated with kind of harsh chemicals. But I happen to know that the superwash yarns from Coop Knits, which is Socks Yeah, Fibre Space, and a lot of our indie dyes are actually resin treated rather than.
Oh, right. I didn't know there was a different way of doing it.
Yeah, it's actually better for the environment. And you can look at it as being better in a couple of different ways, because you're less likely to ruin it, less likely to chuck it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sustainability is important. Awesome. Well, I hope you're enjoying those pictures of the gorgeous little Oakley in his sweater. He stole our Instagram by storm when we showed those pictures.
Bless him.
Sweet little boy.
And the best thing is that he always smiles, so
he's
you're always going to get a smiley picture of him. I'll have to make him some more clothes from the yarn in the shop, so that we can have some more smiley pictures, because he doesn't ever not smile. He's always smiling. Oh, such a cutie.
Well, Ross has forgotten a finished object, actually, so I'm just going to skip back briefly, and we'll put some pictures up here. you actually, talking about children's knits, did a Colour Lab jumper, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
Green
Yes.
and blue, and that's in the shop now.
Yeah.
We've got a picture of our boss's or the shop owner's grandson wearing it, looking ever so sweet. But yeah, we'll pop
Lovely, straightforward knit, that one.
How did you find it? Because I personally tend to shy away from colour block sweaters because I just think, ugh, you know, changing colours, changing yarns, ends. How was it?
It was a very straightforward knit, actually. Not much brain work needed at all. And I think where the colour block changed across the chest was the same as where it changed on the sleeve. So you could match up quite easily. Yeah, it was a pleasure to knit. It was very quick. We don't have to do it as quick as I do, but it was an easy knit. So I did it without thinking.
Anyone could do it quite as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
There's no need.
The super knitter.
I was feeling a little bit smug today because I've got 3 finished objects, folks, and anyone who's watched this podcast from the beginning will know that doesn't happen. Anyone who's watched my podcast will know it never happens. But I've now remembered a 3rd finished object that Ros has done, the little set from Bloom, which again we'll put some pictures up of. So
that's so cute.
You know, we're fans of Erica Knight, and obviously Erica Knight left the Erica Knight brand. She's turned up at Rowan, which is very exciting, and has produced 2 collections that are already out, and 1 new collection that's coming out in September that we're going to have. But the 2 new collections are called Bloom, and they are for mums to be and baby. And she's got a very neutral palette. It's very sort of in line with Rowan's sort of style. And Ros, while I was away a few weeks ago, whipped up casually, as you do, the cover garments from Bloom. I think it's Bloom 2 book. And I'll put some pictures up as we talk about it. And this is really goes to show the power of looking at different yarns and what it can do, because I thought this little set was quite sweet. It's a kind of set of soaker pants, leggings, if you will, and a little jumper. And I thought they were very sweet, but it isn't something that I'd thought to make. And then Ros pitched up with this set that I'm flashing on the screen now, with the most adorable rainbow bottoms, which you can just imagine over a nappy-clad bottom.
Yes, they're lovely nappy shape.
And a bright green top. Now, the great thing about the Colour Lab DK is the self-striping ones have at least 4 colours from the main shades that you can mix and match with them. So yes, so hopefully you're enjoying seeing these. And actually, I'm planning on making a pair for my brother, whose baby is due in November. They won't be rainbow, sadly. They're going monochromatic, so I'm going to be using the greys. So they'll look a little bit different. I mean, the baby might look like a jailbird in them when I've done it. I don't know. Might go for a plain top and just the stripy bottoms.
Stripy bottoms, yeah.
I think stripy bottoms. I won't do a stripy top as well because it'll look like it's broken out from somewhere. Which I suppose, depending on your take on childbirth, it could well be seen as. So.
Absolutely.
So yes, so hopefully you've enjoyed seeing that. The collection is lovely. We sold out of the books once already. We've got them in. We've got both books in now. We've got lots of other exciting Rowan things coming up as well, which I won't talk about just in case I manage to get this edited and out before September. You never know. But follow our Instagram. There's so many exciting things coming. So there we are. So that's finished objects from Ros and Linda. There's anything. There's the crochet mobile that you did, Linda, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
What happens when we don't speak to you? We actually do things. So
we do, absolutely. Yeah, no, I made a little mobile for the shop that was out of one of the little baby books in the shop. I'll send a picture of the baby book to you tomorrow. And it was just a sea. Well, I love the sea. That's my favourite thing. So it was, a sort of jellyfish and a fish and just a baby mobile, which is very cute. And I made it out of the Bo Peep because the colours are great for making that sort of thing for a nursery. It's just lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, it crocheted up beautifully and it's utterly charming. We've hung it from the ceiling, and as I'm saying this, I'm now thinking, oh, I hope it doesn't set the burglar alarms off.
Oh, don't think
Oops. Well, I haven't heard from
No.
John and Vanessa.
No.
Anything untoward has happened, so I'll just keep quiet about that for now and hope nothing does.
No.
But yeah, we've hung it, which is not directly in front of, but sort of in the area in front of the bo peep, and it looks really sweet. So yeah, well, I've got a few finished objects as well. We'll carry on with the baby knits theme to start with, and then we'll go on to the adult knits. So I have finished the jumper that I showed you last time that I'd started.
Very cute.
That's so cute.
My flippy bottom's a bit extreme, but there we are. So this is an old Erica Knight pattern. Now, interestingly, this is very similar to the bloom pattern, isn't it?
It is.
Similar. So although we don't have the old Erica Knight pattern anymore, there's definitely an aesthetic to Erica's designs. I quite like it because it's got little buttons there, so there's no sort of yanking it over baby's head. It's knit in pieces, I'm going to be honest. Having converted to knitting in the round in the past few years, there was much grumpiness when it came to sewing it up. Why would anyone knit flat ever? Blah, 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 blah. But I think I did a fair job of it. So this is in Vivacious DK, which is from Fibre States. It is 100% superwash merino, again resin treated, as I mentioned before. I've never put Vivacious through the washing machine, but I'm going to, and we will see. As a little baby garment, it is quite dear. I broke into the second skein for this, and I believe they're something like £15–16 per skein. So, but I've done the 3 to 6 month size by accident. I cast on the right number of stitches for the 0 to 3 months, but I couldn't see any information on this poster pattern about the gauge. I found it, but it was right at the top of the poster pattern, not with the pattern itself. It was like in the notes somewhere. And so I measured the gauge and realised the gauge had come out for the 3 to 6 month size, even though I'd cast on for the 0 to 3. So I wasn't going to rip it out. What I did was I just elongated it. So I made sure I followed the length of the sleeves and the body. So I had a 3 to 6 month size. And yeah, it just needs a few little buttons. And actually the sewing up wasn't too painful. I've done mattress stitch. I do it in the same way as Roz. I use stitch markers to hold it in place and something flat to work on. So yeah, so you can, I mean, you can just about see a slight seam there, but it's ever so slight. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that.
You may be interested to know that the bloom similar jumper is actually a top down in the round, which normally up to now we've had most of our baby things have been a traditional construction in the lots of little pieces, but I think that might be quite a good introduction for people who might be thinking they should now start to brave the in the round.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with the traditional English pattern as well. I'd only ever knit flat up until about 5 years ago. I was terrified of doing it, the first top down in the round.
Yeah,
but it's actually really quite simple and liberating. Much sewing up, and I dislike sewing up. I really, and so do you guys, as it happens, which is really cool. I shared a grumpy thing about me picking up stitches on a second finished object. Let's segue into that one, because then I can introduce our new team member to you as well. Vic and I shared knitting at the shop because we're ever so busy, don't have a lot of time, don't really want to be taking samples home, although Roz does sneak them home and works on them, and we're very grateful. So Vic and I did attention, what's it, get a square, gauge, swatch for a denim revive top from Rowan, and turns out we could work to the same gauge, which is amazing. And so between us we did this top, and Vic did the lion's share of the work, and then it was passed to me at the point where all the stitches needed picking up. in cotton, you know. So I was like, cheers, thanks. Thank you. And I was very worried about it because I don't have a good sort of relationship with picking up stitches in cotton, because cotton can quite often stretch and make your, particularly on a V-neck, can make it look messy. So I did say to Roz, if I make a mess of this, can you please deal with it and fix it? I knew you were going to ask. I was like, well, you know, going to go in the shop. It's a reflection on all of us, isn't it? As it happened, I was a big brave girl and I did it all by myself, and it didn't get past to Roz, and that's all good. Yeah, so I shared on Facebook how much I loathe picking up stitches, and I will actually get a whole garment done but then avoid the picking up bit and it languishes because I'm intimidated by it, because I know it doesn't always go so well. And we're all really critical of our own work, aren't we? And actually
it shows, doesn't it?
It does show. And a lot of people on Facebook went, yep, don't like picking up stitches, don't like seaming things. No. And so it felt good to know I'm not alone. I'll put a picture of the garment up now, and you might be wondering who our lovely model is. Well, we've got some exciting news and would like to introduce to you behind her back, because she's currently visiting family and doesn't know we're doing this. My temporary maternity cover manager for the shop will be looking after the shop, and my lovely team while I'm away. So the person modelling this is Therese, also known as Brixton Pearl, who you might recognise as a knitwear designer. And she kind of like parachuted in a bit like Mary Poppins, right place, right time. And yeah, will be joining us from next week. She's already been in the shop, hasn't she? Working, and we're really excited to have her on board. So that's that. So that's not my finished object. It's technically Vic's finished object, although I finished it. But Vic did most of the work. Oh, whatever, it's mine, I claim it. Vic's not here. The other two things I'm going to flash up are Vic's. Vic isn't unfortunately joining us on the podcast at the moment, but we've got the Marley blanket that we showed off a few weeks ago. Vic's actually finished that, and it's blocked and it's beautiful. And this is from Marley Yarns, one of our local flock yarns, pure Wensleydale. We were surprised. We thought this blanket would come out a lot bigger, more like a shawl, but actually it's really quite small. It's beautiful, but it was interesting. I mean, logically, if we just looked at the dimensions of the finished object, we would have known this, and it would not have been a surprise. But we made an assumption, a bit like people who make assumptions and buy things online like prams, and they turn out to be dolls' prams or dolls' house prams, in worst case scenario. Easily done. So we basically did that and went, oh. So that's really beautiful. And also in our local yarns, we have a crochet project for you that Vic's done, which is this beautiful collar. As of yet, I haven't found an off Ravelry link, but we will find some similar and pop them down. It's crochet. It's worth noting it's in US terms, not UK. And Vic has used the natural black from Longcroft for this, natural black 4-ply, which is a blend of black Wensleydale and alpaca. And the black Wensleydale ladies are called Lovebug and Ladybug, and their friend is called Rosie. So we love that we know the names of the sheeps and their friends that go into our yarns. So there's two finished objects for you there. And if that wasn't enough, I feel like I'm just talking a marathon at the moment. I've also finished my blanket that I was doing for my brother. Now this is a pattern. Well, it's not for my brother, it's for his baby. It's not blocked yet. It's preparing to be blocked, hence why it's all wiggly wobbly. And it's a honeycomb blanket. You can find these patterns really easily online. And it's worked with slip stitches. So you can see I put my finger through there. It's not actually very complicated at all. And I have used Debbie Bliss Falkland Merino Aram, which is a yarn that is discontinued in as far as local yarn shops are concerned, but we still have a stash and it's on sale and it's really nice to work with. It does say machine washed 40. Ignore it. Do not do that. I would do a cool wool cycle if you're going to put it in the machine. That's what I'm going to advise my sister-in-law to do, because unfortunately this one does felt. But yeah, it's an Aran weight blanket, and Aran might seem a bit much for a baby, but the size of it, it's never going to be folded over. And so that will be okay. So I finished that one. And the final finished object was again, another picture, my socks in the peacock colourway for my Storkshire spinners, which
that's lovely.
My dad. I sent them to him in time for Father's Day with his Father's Day card. And he texted me last week and said, thank you so much for my Father's Day card. Bless him, he knew what it was that had arrived in the post, and he wanted to keep them nice until he was ready to wear them, so he didn't open them, so he missed his Father's Day card.
Oh.
Like, that's really sweet. So yeah, and he is so knitworthy. It's so nice when you get really knitworthy people in your life, isn't it? Like your grandchildren, Linda, and your niece you knit for quite a lot. Yeah, well, really
I've got a new little niece who was born in November in the south of France. So she's had some stuff in the winter. I haven't done any summer things because they're too hot, but yeah, I haven't met her yet. But
hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
But in the meantime, we can wrap them all up in love. I haven't seen my dad for a long time now, like you haven't your parents either. So, but he's so knit-worthy that I did, of course, cast on another sock.
Oh,
yes.
Way.
It was like my dad and his socks.
That's lovely. That's our colours.
It's kind of all three of us, isn't it?
Yes.
That is our colours.
Three of us. Very, very on brand for us. I'm not going to bother telling you what the yarn is, because if you've watched this podcast before, you'll know I have a very strong love affair with the wonder that is West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's West Yorkshire Spinners. You don't need me to tell you that, really, do you? And this is the Blue Lagoon colourway, which we have quite a bit of, which is good because they are actually discontinuing their cocktails range.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we couldn't get half of them. I think we've got Rum Paradise has come back in. We've got quite a bit of Blue Lagoon. I think Pink Flamingo, but that's not actually a cocktail one. And Passion Fruit Cooler we snapped up. But the Rum Tequila Sunrise, which is the orange one, has gone. And the Mojito one has gone, which is all the lovely greens. And Blue Lagoon, I think, has gone now as well. But we do still have some in stock. We snapped some up with the last ones. And that's where I'm at. I am at the point of turning the heel. So I do my socks. There are lots of different ways of doing socks. I do mine on 2 circular needles. I find it lessens the chance of a ladder down the side. And also, if you're working a heel flap and gusset, it means you don't have to negotiate, putting stitches on hold. They just hang out there and you work back and forth for them.
Oh, yeah.
So that is everything from me, works in progress and finished objects. Linda has the mother of all works in progress. In fact, the mother, the father, the grandparents.
It is mega. Mega.
Yeah.
So I am working on a blanket called the Wallflowers blanket by a very lovely lady called Sue Merton, who runs the Mercery. And it's made in Rowan felted tweed. And it is basically hundreds of flowers. So I don't know how much you can see of it, but it is really rather beautiful.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
That's, I think, probably at that angle's better. So I've made it in traditional wallflower colours of my childhood. So I've put lots of, I've used the zinnia and, the reds, and then at the edges in the middle, you use a very dark colour. So I've used Seafarer and Maritime to do the centre of the blanket. And then I've just added the corners, which are here, which are also the darker ones, and Celadon as well, which is my favourite colour of all the. Yeah, so it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a 6-month course, so I've been doing it for 5 months, and I've got a month left to get it finished. You can work at your own pace, but it's a labour of love. I'm absolutely adoring it. And Rowan felted tweed, which we have in the shop, is amazing to crochet with. It gives you fabulous texture. And also what I love about it, especially in a project like this, is every colour contains speckles of every other colour. So it doesn't matter which colours you choose, you're going to end up with something beautiful because they pick up on each other. There's some fabulous really 3D flowers, which I think you can probably see from the corner, which is just with the sulphur and the zinnia, a little bit of blue in it's lovely. So in a month's time, hopefully we'll be able to have it in the shop for a little while if anybody wants to have a look at it, so that you can see how the felted tweed crochets up, because it really, to be honest with you, it isn't something I would have thought of to crochet with. And then when it was said as the suggested yarn for the blanket, I thought I'll give it a go. I've made jumpers from it before and loved the jumpers, but it does crochet beautifully, really beautifully. It doesn't split. It's wonderful. So that is why I don't have many finished objects, because I spend hours and hours making beautiful little flowers, which is nice.
They're really beautiful, and you're right, I wouldn't necessarily have thought to crochet in the felted tweed either. I don't know why, because you can crochet in anything.
Because it's tweedy, I don't know. Yeah.
People come in and say, oh, have you got yarns for crochet? I always say you can crochet in whatever you want. You can do whatever you want with our yarns. You can make bombs, you can dangly earrings, you can do things that I don't want to know about with them, you know, for all I care. Just enjoy using the yarn. But it's really interesting how beautiful it is, and what you're saying about the speckles is so right, because that takes me back to when Ros was choosing, you were choosing your colourways for your enchanted mesa, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
And actually what we found when we looked at the colours is that some of them picked up the other colours, and it's not in your face, it's not like speckling, is it? It's subtle,
sort of tweedy, is it?
It is, yeah. And the other thing is that there are probably, I don't know, 200 people doing this at the same time as me. And I cannot believe the amount of variations in the colour palettes that people have chosen. And yet everything works. It's amazing. And I think it is because it picks up these little bits. Oh, you've done. Oh, look, while we're sitting here, she's done.
Right, let Linda finish and then we'll come to you.
Yeah, of course.
No, that's it's fine.
Possibly holding it up.
Could you just say what you're saying again, please, Linda, about there being 200?
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, there's more than that. I think there's a lot of people, and everybody is using a different colour palette, which was a part of the course, was choosing how to choose your colour palette, and everybody's colour palette seems to work. That I've not seen one out of all the blankets that I see online. I haven't seen one that I've gone, oh, I wouldn't have done that, because every one of them works. And I think it is because of the speckle in the yarn. I think they all pick each other up, which is fabulous. Yeah, no, it's lovely. Really? Yeah, and I will hopefully have it done for the next podcast, and then we can see it properly.
That'd be really cool. And we've got a huge selection of Rowan felted tweed yarns now, mostly down to this one and her beautiful blanket, because I had to buy in a lot of them. But it was great. It was a great opportunity to expand our palette, and because there are so many different colours within the blanket, even though you've gone for traditional wallflower colours, there's still lots of depths and tones. So do check those out. They are absolutely lovely, and they're really, when you think tweedy yarns, I would historically think slightly with a little bit of an itch factor, but there isn't with this. It's really soft.
It's soft, yeah. No, it's lovely. It's a really nice yarn.
Yeah,
nice to work with.
Linda does have another finished object that she's forgotten about, and I've only just remembered about. But we have something very exciting, dear viewers. We have a live finish that's just occurred. Live finish. How's this for a special episode?
It's done. Oh no, should go and put it on, really, shouldn't we? Yeah, I just did that sewing up that I was showing you, because on the cushion in front of me it's quite easy to do, so I just cracked on.
Let's see it seen then. Come on, is it neater than mine? Yes, it is.
Well, the thing is, the rib gives you that lovely channel to sew along anyway, so that it's kind of easy. And I had pinned it all out with the locking stitch markers earlier, and then just put it on the cushion, so might even wear it to work tomorrow.
Great, we can get some pictures of it. We can show the pictures off on the podcast.
It has, I think it's very much Art Deco, isn't it, that sort of thingy.
Yeah, I'll be popping in tomorrow, so I'll take some shots.
Might need a bit of tan.
Okay, so the other thing that Ros has just mentioned to me is the fact that Stephen West has another knit along coming up. Now, we do have our current make along, not a mystery along, which is still going. So do please send in your entries, because I'm getting to the point where I need to start thinking about drawing prizes. And actually, aside from people who've ordered patterns from us through our website and bought them in store, I don't know who's joining in with this, because I haven't had anyone commenting in the comments box down below, or posting in our Facebook group, or tagging us on Instagram posts. There are lots of different ways you can get your items counted. So please do that. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to make it fair and representative when we do the prize draw. The prize will be revealed on our Instagram and Facebook in a few weeks. And as far as I'm aware, I need to double check now because the rules from Brexit have changed again. As far as I'm aware, I can ship this internationally because it's a prize. I will double check, but I will. All the details will be on there. But we'll do honourable mentions or honourable mentions. Whoops, honourable mentions. Anyway, if we can't ship out international prizes, I will look into that for you. But yeah, so Rosie, you were saying you're tempted to do his his mystery knit along, and last year you put together some colour packs for us, didn't you? From yarns and the yarn might work. So you were thinking about doing something similar?
Exactly. Last year I did my slip stravaganza from stash, and that felt good to kind of get through some of my stash. But then we started wandering around the shop, picking up different yarns. He often encourages you to choose lots of different colours, and I think he makes people brave somehow. And he also, if somebody is feeling a bit scared of his patterns, he's always got little online tutorials for making it easy, so I wouldn't be scared of it. And choosing the colours for people, as I was saying, when they come into the shop, think I'd like to do this pattern, where do I start? That's the job we love doing in the shop.
Yeah, and
wandering around picking.
You in particular have paired a lot of people up with their perfect yarns for the spectra that you did for our mystery, not mystery along. And it's amazing, like you were saying, Linda, the differences that people can go with, and they all look really lovely. My general rule is if it makes your heart sing, then that's a good sign. Don't overanalyze it. But no, Ros is excellent at putting colours together, as are the others. So
well, it's very, very tempting when you look at a pattern to think that you should make that pattern in the colours that are shown on the pattern.
Exactly.
And I've done it in the past myself. And then you wear it and you think, actually, they aren't my colours. That it might have looked wonderful on the model, but they're not the colours for me. So it's so nice to be able to look at someone in the shop and think, well, actually, you would look better if or you may be happier if we showed you these colours, because it's so easy just to stick to the colour on the front of a pattern because they've made it look lovely.
Yeah, and you got to go with what makes you happy.
Exactly.
Equally, what we don't want is you coming in and sort of leaning on us to choose the colours for you.
No, absolutely.
With you, we work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the fun bit.
I've actually had that experience before. I was told not to do the colours I was thinking of because these colours would be better. We're going back a while, and I've given it away.
Yeah, you just don't wear it, do you?
I don't love it. Yeah,
no, you've got to love it, haven't you?
Dad. So it's always with you, and we'll help sort of match colours together. And bases are important because you mix and match. So a lot of the spectras that have been done have taken Rivenet Neen base, which is 100% non-superwash BFL, so soft. But we've used the Socks Yeah palette. Linda was saying earlier about what a wonderful range we've got. Again, to pick up the details there, and I think we must have. I think there's about 8 spectras that we know of going on at the moment.
At least, I think. Yeah.
You can't enter them, folks, unless you enter them properly. So just because I know you're doing one, Debbie, Helen, Ali, doesn't mean I'm going to enter you. You've got to enter properly. No special treatment, you see. Yeah. So yeah, we'll work with you always on that and sort of and help you. But at the end of the day, you've got to be happy. It's got to make you want to work on it and you want to wear it. And it's your thing, no one else's. But yes, we'll look forward to what colour packs Ros puts together for us for this new mystery shawl. I will not be doing the mystery knit along because I still haven't finished the one from last year.
It's okay. Well, there's a project for you.
It's when it gets to 900 stitches and you want to show off the progress, but you've worked on it for 4 hours and you've done 2 rows. You kind of lose joy of it. Should we have one more crochet finished object? Let's go to Linda's beautiful carousel blanket. Linda's been inspiring people with her crochet since she joined us at TYD, and this is no exception. So do you want to talk about making it and how you found it? And
it was a really nice blanket for anybody that is wanting to practice new stitches and just or new combinations of stitches, because you know every sort of 2 or 3 rows you change the stitches, which is great. Loads of lovely colors, so that was really nice because you work on from the Bo Peep palette. It's a lovely baby blanket. It's a really nice thing to make, and it wasn't too difficult. I think anybody that can crochet a double treble could make it without having too much difficulty with it. It's a really nice blanket to make, and it looks so beautiful when it's finished because it's so bright and cheery. Makes you smile, which is really nice. Yeah, it's a lovely one to do. And we've got the pattern for it in the shop and the yarn, obviously, and it's there, and the blankets in the shop if anybody wants to come in and have a look at it. So.
Yeah, and again, I'm putting up some pictures here. Yeah. There was a bit, wasn't there? Weren't you a bit concerned about the edges being a bit wobbly at one point? How did that resolve?
Yeah, no, I did, because you're changing stitches. Occasionally you get a bit of a, oh, hang on a minute, that doesn't seem to sit quite straight, but it blocked beautifully. And I think once you've edged it anyway, because you edge it at the end, the edging straightens it out, any little tiny bits that don't look quite straight. And then, in fact, you were with me when we blocked it, weren't you, Ros? We were sitting on my back lawn on a lovely hot sunny day, and it looked beautiful in the sunshine. It was really nice to have it out on the lawn. So, yeah, no, it's good.
I've seen on a crochet page on Facebook, people saying, well, why do people block? I pull my stitches straight as I go. What's the point? And there's this kind of sort of heated debate and say, well, my crochet looks fine. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure it does. It looked great as a work in progress. But if you look at it as a work in progress and you look at it blocked by Linda, it allows the stitches to really show off what they're meant to do. Because with crochet especially, you've got lots of different sort of lace effects and textures. And yeah, and where do you all fall on blocking? Because if I'm just doing something for myself in plain stocking stitch, I don't always. It's got to be honest, I don't always. But I'm definitely a looking convert. Where do you guys fall with this?
I think years ago I didn't kind of realise, like a lot of people, how important it was. But even something very plain, I think it does give a finish and supposedly sets the stitches. I'm just wondering about this linen thing now, whether to block it or not, because it seems to be okay. But I might just do it a little bit with some steam, see what happens.
Yeah, steam block. I often block what I've made on the first wash. So if it's a garment, I'll wear it because I can't wait to wear it. And then I wash it and block it. And then I think, why didn't I do that in the first place? Because it does show your stitch definition up so much better. And it just gives it a more professional finish, doesn't it? You get your straight lines and your straight edges, and you know, it's just it's good.
You can tweak some of the ones if you did have to stop in the middle of a row or something, you can tweak those stitches with the end of a knitting needle or something. For lace knitting, it is essential.
Yeah.
Another picture came up on my Instagram of, it's 2 years now since my main blocking assistant, my cat Clarissa, died, and she's sitting on a very complex knitted shawl that just would have been a bundle of threads if it hadn't been blocked.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally essential for lace.
Yeah, especially a big project, because if you think about you shoving it in your project bag, it gets, I mean, it doesn't crease per se yarn, but it does show. So it's interesting. Let us know what you think about blocking below. There are a couple of different methods, the full wet block or the steam block, as Linda's mentioned before. And if that's something you'd be interested in finding out more about, then we can look to do a little bit of that on our website going forward. Not sure if this will be the last podcast episode for a while, because Miss Reliable here is disappearing. And it does take a long time to edit, but we will be hopefully hosting some videos and tutorials and things on our website in the meantime, so make sure you are following us on there. Right, speaking of which, I forgot a whip. I cast off a jumper. This looks ginormous, but it's 1 to 2 years. I don't know how big children are, but it does look ginormous. I've got gauge, but yeah. But this is a kind of, would you call it a fisherman's rib, Ros? It's not
hard
really,
to see. Maybe you going 2 steps up and 1 step back type of thing, or what are you?
It's the one you did the tutorial for me.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that's actually called. Whether that's actually classic Fisherman's rib. I was going to look it up actually after I did the explanatory bit for you, because I followed what they'd said, but I'm not sure what the title of that they've given of the stitch.
It makes a really defined rib,
Yeah.
and this is a little cotton jumper. It's an Ericanite pattern that we've got quite a few of. It's an older pattern. We've got quite
yes,
a really charming. I'll flash a picture up. Little, I would call it Fisherman's Rooks because it reminds me of it, or not. It is or not. And it uses lots and lots of different colours, and that's really
it certainly looks like it.
Yeah, I mean it's really nice in the different colours. But I wanted to see how far I could get with my budget doing it in one colour, because obviously if you're using 7 or 8 different colours, and then it uses the same number of balls, whatever size you're doing. So I was thinking, God, I'm going to have a lot of waste here. So I'm trying it out in King Cowl Cotton Soft DK, which is one of our summer cotton yarns we've had in. So, I mean, I can't tell you how far I've got so far. It's a really nice colour, isn't it? So I just took one ball to start with. And we're going to see, I'll see how far I get and report back, because one ball of this I think is, I'll put the price up on the bottom, but I think I've got a feeling it's something like £2.95 or something like that, isn't it?
Not a lot anyway.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. You'll like it.
Not a lot.
I'll check it tomorrow if you like.
But it's not a lot. Yeah, that would be great. So my lovely Ros here is supplying me with lots of information to help me edit this thing, so that's great. And actually that little tutorial, she recorded it for me off the cuff. I was actually sort of at an appointment and I was like, I can't do this, I've undone it 4 times, why can't I do it? And different people write patterns differently, and they have idiosyncrasies with doing it. And so I thought, I know, I'll ask Ros. And Ros very sweetly recorded a mini tutorial for me, and it made perfect sense. So I have set tutorial. I'm going to look at it again and see what I can do with it in editing, and it may well find its way onto our website soon to give you an idea of the sorts of things that are to come. So if there are any other sort of little tutorials, little kits, patterns, anything you'd like to see from us in the coming months, then do let us know below. Has we got anything else, or is that it?
I think that's probably it. I can't think of anything else.
We've been ever so efficient.
We have.
We're getting good at this.
We are. We never made too many profiles either, did we?
It's all right. At least you didn't say strip extravaganza.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. That's not too bad, is it?
That one's not too bad, but
no.
We've done worse in the past. We have done worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've got your horrible mentions to look forward to.
My horrible mentions.
Oh, I've gone pink.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's wrap this up then.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Oh, if you're once you're not recording, I've got a question.
Okay, right. Let's just say our goodbyes then before we do anything down and move on. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us again and for your patience. And I know you'll be thrilled that it's not just me blathering at you, but I've got the lovely Ros and Linda with me. We're not sure when the next one will be, but we do very much hope you will follow our journey on Instagram, Facebook, give Therese a warm welcome into the joyous chaos that is our shop. And we hope you stay safe, join in the make-alongs, vote for us in the Let's Knit Awards, and have a very crafty however many weeks it is till we see you again. Take care.
Ciao. Bye.